So this is the way to assemble a Peerless dry install receptor system. When you receive your parts from Peerless, your sill is going to have window sill locators already pre-installed. They'll be set in place with set screws. Your weeps will be on the front of your sill. To assemble this, you'll need 2 corner keys per end that use a 4mm T-handle. Loosen the corner keys. You're going to apply sealant to this entire face to create a profile seal. So you're going to take a sealant gun and follow along every line of the profile. You'll take your corner keys, insert them into the hollows. You want to make sure that the buttons fully engage and completely pop out. You do not want them to be halfway engaged. You want to make sure they're depressed fully. Do that to both sides. Profile seal both ends. You'll then take one of your jam members and slide it over those corner keys. Making sure that the corner keys both engage. You'll then take that 4mm and tighten the screw. You can then clean up any squish out that'll squish out of those seam joints. You'll want to come to the inside and make sure that there's plenty of silicone here. If not enough squished out on the inside, go ahead and reinforce that seal with extra silicone. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. Applying that same heel bead all to the entire profile. Tighten these corner keys down as well. Making sure that your joinery is flush. The head's the exact same process. Applying silicone to every profile seal. It can be easier to achieve your profile seal if you remove the corner keys completely and insert them into each half of the assembly first. aligning your screws and tightening down the assembly again. That's the complete frame assembly of the Peerless Dry Receptor install. Okay, so once you have your Peerless Dry install receptor system built, the next thing you're going to do is set the window. Using the two sill anchor plates, you're going to locate the bottom of the window up against those. This will set the compression for the bottom of the window. You're then going to use the retention clips that Peerless provides, and you will need a 9/64 Allen key. These have a hook leg that hooks into a pocket in the inside of the receptor system. Once it's hooked, you can take your Allen key and tighten those up, and that's going to act as a temporary clip to hold your window in place. But you can leave it in as well. It acts as a reinforcement to help achieve higher design pressures. Once your window's set, you'll put backer rod around the full perimeter of your window. You'll apply silicone completely across the bottom and up 8 inches. Then you'll install your receptor bead. Your window is completely installed. So the most common questions you're going to get asked on the sample is the weep location here. We typically do 2 weeps. This is because this window is so small, not something you typically see. On this sample, the sill blocks are located so close together because the window is so small that it looks like it doesn't weep, but those are pre-installed by Peerless. They're 4 inches long. They go from each corner of the window location, and they come over 4 inches, so they support the glass setting block to prevent the glass or window frame from having any warping going on. So on a full-size window, those will have plenty of space to weep. They completely allow for water to pass through them to the exterior. On our window systems, we do apply sealant at this joinery. Your customer can do the same on the receptor system. They don't have to. Any water that does pass through that is going to stop when it hits the backer rod, fall down to your bottom an 8-inch sealant, and weep out the weeps to the exterior.
What if somebody asks me if I only have sealant up 8 inches up the jamb and it hits the backer rod, is that going to be enough to stop it and make it go down?
The backer rod is a closed cell foam, so it will not absorb water. It's pinched in place between the window frame and it has compression, so yes, it will stay in place and allow the water to fall. So with our new system, one of the features is a three-piece mullion. These no longer have to be attached with angles, and you'll be able to attach it like we do a meeting rail on a window. So it will use our special meeting rail keys, just like we do in a window. They will fit into these tracks. The orientation is important. If you put these in backwards, you'll have an overhang from your meeting rail to the back of the material that will push the entire mullion to the outside. So the orientation of these are very important. They just snap in. They are able to move. So your installer will snap his meeting rails in place, meeting rail keys in place. He will attach his meeting rail to the sill. He'll repeat the same process on the head before he installs his jams. This will allow him to move it left and right until he locates these in place. These have a special screw that has a very special head on it. So these screws go into this meeting rail key and actually pull the meeting rail down. So those are a unique screw. Once the installer has this screw with the meeting rail pulled down, there's a secondary Phillips head screw that is placed between the bottom of the material and these two ears to force the meeting rail key apart to keep everything locked in place, to prevent the meeting rail from being able to be slid with a hammer or be slid with anything. So if your installer does set his meeting rail incorrectly, he will have to remove these screws before being able to relocate his meeting rail. When he does install this meeting rail, there's a void across the bottom. He needs to pre-seal the hammer grooves, making sure we tool sealant down into the grooves, set his meeting rail, and then back seal across the whole thing to reinforce the joint. The other unique feature to our system is this now allows us to use corner keys on inverse miters. When that happens, the corner key processing will now be on the interior of the window. The installer will need to seal over those keys where they're in the inside of the window, or he will pass water from the wet zone to the dry zone possibly.